Hey guys, Kevin Shaw here, editor-in-chief of Mopar Connection Magazine. As you can likely tell, it's really cold out here, and we just discovered that our 2006 Jeep Wrangler Rubicon doesn't have any heat. So timing couldn't have been more perfect to discover that, as we are currently looking at 14 degrees outside. We're going to go through a little bit of troubleshooting. We already investigated a little bit, and we'll walk you through some of the steps to check before going to the step that we are going to right now, and that is going to be, we're going to have to flush out the heater core. There's a very easy way to do it. It's really not all that difficult. It really doesn't require a lot of tools. So let's take you through some of the steps. This will be a quick and dirty how to double check your heating system for your TJ Jeep. It's pretty specific, but thankfully it doesn't require any parts, and we'll show you why in just a second. All right, engine is cold. We're gonna let it warm up, but we are gonna show that our vacuum door adjuster is working. So we'll go from, here's our fan. You can hear that. That's clearly working. And then we'll go to defroster. And you just heard it swap. Now we're blowing out of the defroster. And we'll go back to prove that this is working. Obviously we want the defroster, so we're keeping it here for the time being. But let's show you where that vacuum canister is. It's actually just next to the driver's foot right here. Okay. And you'll see the vacuum lines. Two vacuum lines are right here. If I was to pull them, you'd hear suction. All right. We're gonna put them back on. All right, so we got these back on. Now we're gonna show you the actuator and how to check if that's working right too. Okay, so this guy is our actuator. This is the guy that controls through this gear how the door will swing back and forth, allowing cold air or hot air to come through. And I'm going to show you how, if it's not working or if it's working. You're going to see this gear spin, and that's going to tell you if it's going from hot to cold. All right, I don't know if you saw that, but we're gonna go back to hot. Okay, so if this actuator was dead, and they do go out, we would not see this gear move back and forth. Now, I've already taken this off. I've already proven that the gear is engaging with the shaft and turning the door, so the actuator is in good shape. Thankfully, we don't need to replace it. But the nice thing is, this guy's only about 30 bucks. So it's not even that big of a deal. It's held on by 3 screws. Those are 8mm screws. And you can pull those out in a heartbeat. That's actually really, really easy. But thankfully we don't have to replace that. All right. We brought our Jeep up to about 200 degrees. We're gonna check. We have it set at cold, but not air conditioning. It's just ambient air from outside. I've got my little thermostat here. Let's see how cold the air is. Yeah, that's freezing. We got freezing cold air coming out of the vents right now. So let's put it on heat and see if it gets any hotter. Go down to heat, flip it all the way around. Now we bring out our thermostat. See what our temp gauge says. Oh, 45, 46. We are not getting, oh, 47. We are just not getting any heat out of our heater core. So let's flush our heater core and see if we can't find any sediment that is blocking up the heater core. We are not going to need much to be able to do this. There's just a couple tricks when it comes to these old TJs that will decide whether you have a quick project or a long project. So we're going to take our two heater hoses, not from the firewall, but from right here off of the thermostat, because this is a quick way, and these guys are notorious for getting air bubbles. So what we want to do is take them from here. We're going to drain out into a bottle, and then we're going to use just a little bit of air. I'm actually going to blow into it. I don't want to even use compressed air. And we're going to try to blow out what coolant is in the heater core. And then we're going to feed in a little bit of white vinegar, just regular kitchen vinegar. Going to let it sit for a little bit. Then we're going to blow that out. We're going to flush it out with some water. And then we're going to fill it up with antifreeze as much as we can and put it back onto the thermostat. And then we're going to burp the system, try to get as much air out of it as we can. These have a really bad habit of collecting air. And in fact, I've even had a friend of mine have his radiator blow up in his face and get burns, and it was a really bad deal because he wasn't able to get all the air out of the system. So we're going to show you how to do that. It's actually pretty easy to do. Got a nice clear bottle. We want to show what we're getting out of the system. We actually have plenty of room to store this. There's actually lots of room inside of it, inside of the Jeep engine compartment. So I kicked the camera, sorry about that. But let's try to start with the first, which is our return line. Okay, back you up. All right, we just pulled this very obnoxious retainer back using a pair of pliers. Now we are just going to pull this off. We're going to put it in our clear bottle. We'll pull this off, we'll put it down here. We'll try to catch as much coolant as we can, and then we're going to do the same with the positive line. We'll back that off, and then we're going to purge. We're going to blow everything out through the firewall back through this return line that we're going to have in the bottle. So it won't be a whole lot. The heater cores are incredibly small, especially on these Jeeps. There we go. Woo! Well, more of it's coming out of the engine than it is the hose. Back that off. Put you over here. See if we can't get our big hose off and not make an equally giant mess. And there goes my bottle. Okay. Okay. Well, we're going to blow right through here and try to purge it out into the bottle. See how successful I am with this. Boy, that went pretty well. Well, let's do it the other way now, just to be sure. Now, right now, it's actually looking pretty clean. We're not getting a lot of sediment out of there. So that actually looks really good, except for a few little bits. I can't imagine that will be what clogged us up. I think the vinegar is going to be the most successful at getting this cleared out. So we're going to put this in here. And let me grab my hose. Cover up, because I definitely do not want any of that in my mouth. Ugh. All right. Well, good. Okay. So, what we want to do, we're going to hang on to this. And hang on to our bottle of old coolant. We'll keep this here for safekeeping. I don't think I'll be able to use, I could reuse some of it. Now I've just got some all-purpose vinegar. Basic stuff you'd have underneath your kitchen sink. Good for cleaning. It's not very caustic. It's very light on aluminum. I had considered maybe using a CLR or even bleach, and looked online, saw a lot of people who had really good success with the vinegar. So we're going to try this out. We're going to see how well we do. And we've got our funnel. We're going to start with this line. And we're going to fill it up until we maybe get just a little bit dripping back. And that will let us know that we have got a full core. Oh, there it goes. We're going to let it sit for about 10-15 minutes. 10-15 minutes, hopefully it gets in there, starts doing its magic. So we are still very, very full. It's been about 15, almost 20 minutes. So we've definitely let the vinegar do its job. We're gonna blow this out. Boy, is it getting everywhere. I might have to clean out the engine compartment. But for right now, let's do this. Oh boy. No one said it was gonna taste good. And I got a little bit of water here in this bottle. Had to get it out from the had to get it from inside the house because everything out here is frozen. But let's feed some water through. And we'll take this top one. Our next step, we're going to put a little bit of coolant in. Not a lot because it's just going to spill. And then we'll hook these guys back up. See if our heater doesn't decide to work. We are just about ready to put everything back together again. We flushed everything out, blew it all out, have a nice clear system. There is not much left in there that we can get besides using compressed air. I really don't want to blow compressed air through there. It could hurt an 18-year-old heater core. So what we're going to do is take our funnel, get just the last remnant of our antifreeze that we had from before that we've already screened and filtered out. Put that back in. We're going to hook our return line back up into the factory location. Now we're going to get some antifreeze. We're going to pour it into here. We're also going to pour it into here. We're going to top off our antifreeze. Let me grab that real quick. Just to top it off. Try to get all the air out. Okay. We're already pouring out of here. So that's a good sign. Means we got a lot of air out. No bubbles. That's the biggest problem with these 4-liter Jeeps. Is it's really tough to make sure you get all the air bubbles out. Get this hose clamp back down. Just give it a few more twists. Top this off. We want to check for leaks, make sure that everything looks good, that we didn't make things worse, of course. And then we're going to make sure that everything is happy and we don't have any air pockets. Hopefully when the thermostat opens up, we'll see this get pulled down, and once it pulls down, it's already getting warm, which is nice. We'll start seeing the heat circulate. We'll be able to see everything circulate through the cooling system. Once the thermostat opens up, we'll be good to go. All right. 80. Oh, wait. 90, 93, 95, 95. Kind of bouncing all over the place. But as you can see, we are definitely getting some hot air. But how are we doing that at 2200 RPM? Well, what we found out is not so much about sitting idle will you get good circulation running through your heater core, but at speed we found out that out on the freeway, out on the highway, we are able to get really good temperature out of the heater box. And what that tells me is that the water pump, the factory water pump, is not circulating the coolant, the hot coolant, through the heater core nearly as well as it is when it's at high RPM. So we were successful in flushing our heater core, and that worked, that helped out. But because of how weak the water pump is, you're just not getting a really good heat coming out of the vents at low speed, at low RPM, idling around town, cruising around town, as you would maybe out ripping it on the freeway. So unfortunately, what I found out today really was not a really good fix. It's not a satisfactory answer, at least for me, but it is an answer. If you do have a very low heat coming out of your heater box while you idle, chances are it's because you just got really low circulation going through the heater core. And so you want to get those RPMs up. And that unfortunately isn't the best answer. Thanks again for watching Mopar Connection Magazine. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, leave a comment, maybe share it with your friends, help us grow the channel. And if you want more awesome Mopar content, please definitely go over to www.moparconnectionmagazine.com, where we write new articles and publish them free to you every day, Monday through Friday. Entirely subscription free. There's no passwords, there's no downloads, and that way you get to enjoy everything that traditional paper magazine is, but entirely free and online.